Okay guys, this is Austin coming back in the Wi-Fi NU tier versus some Russian guy whose name I really can't pronounce. So, let's start. I lead off with my golem, he leads off with a Torterra. I go for the stealth rocks just to get him up on his team because he doesn't have a spinner, and golem really isn't that well required on this team. So we make the double switch out. He goes into Haunter, I go into Executor, which is a good matchup for him, and I know that he beats me, so I go out to Cryogonal. And it's a Life Orb set, and my Cryogonal will outspeed because I'm not the standard wall Cryogonal, I'm a Life Orb Cryogonal. And he goes into his Zebstrika, and I just spin away these rocks because Cryogonal can't switch in. He can't take a double kick or anything that most Zebstrikas run. He is a special Zebstrika from what I see because he kills me with that hidden power ice. And I go into Sock. I go for the Earthquake here because I'm not trying to overpredict this early. And he goes into Stunfisk. I Earthquake. And he goes back into Torterra. Now I switch out to Haunter to take the Wood Hammer, the Earthquake, but he makes a good prediction and double switches into Mandibuzz. So I have to switch back out into my Raichu. He goes for a Brave Bird, and Raichu takes that well with 31%. And I double switch back out to Haunter as he goes into Zebstrika, and here I'm just going to go for a Shadow Ball to finish this off, but he hits me with the HP Ice for 71%. Actually I went for Sludge Bomb. HP Ice for 71%. Brings back in his Torterra, and it's scarfed with Stealth Rocks, which I don't understand at all. But now I know he's locked into Wood Hammer. I'm going to send in Executor, set up a sub, go for a Sleep Powder here on this Mandibuzz. Make this safe switch out into my Golem. He whirlwinds me out into Sock. I'm expecting another whirlwind, so I go for a Stone Edge. Maybe he thought this would kill. It did quite a bit. It did 80%. And I go for another Stone Edge because I know he can't switch back in. But he switches out to his Torterra to take it, and the Stone Edge misses. So I go into Executor as he goes back into his Mandibuzz, which dies to my rocks, and he goes into Druddigon. I go for Sleep Powder to put this thing to sleep because I'm faster. Go for a sub. My Citrus Berry activates. I go for a Psychic to try and kill it off. He wakes up first turn, goes for the Outrage, and I make a stupid play here. Instead of just killing it off, I go for another Sleep Powder, and it misses. And the Outrage will kill my Executor. And he's confused. I misclick here and go into Sock, and then remembered he had rough skin, so I was like, oh, I'd better get out of there. Luckily, he hurt himself in the Confuse hacks, and he mispredicts here and attacks, and I go for the Sucker Punch. And then here I just go for another Sucker Punch to deal just as much damage as I can to this thing because it's gonna die next turn anyway. And it took a lot from recoil. And then I go for the Poison Jab. Good game, Russian guy.